What's the deal, my people? You know it is Don Tony Teflon. I'm back at you, another one, and this one is the Lovecraft Country, episode 3. Episode 3 review. The Holy Ghost is what this is. We starting a little bit earlier than usual. Usually, and I'm gonna see if I can get out here a little bit earlier. If we can and stuff like that. I don't know. Obviously, I'll put the camera on in 1 second. I don't know if it's if I'm here by myself tonight. I think I may be here by myself. So I'm gonna need all y'all help to help me get through this episode. And I watched this show, and I just say, can this show get any better? I mean, that's what I say to myself when I watch the show. It's like, is it possible that this show can get any better? And I'm telling you that this show does not disappoint at all. Not at all. This show is just amazing. This is the best show I have seen in quite some time. And I cannot wait to talk about it. There's so much to talk about, just the way it was all formatted, the way it went down, and everything else. We're trying to wait, for a little bit just to see if we can get some more people up in here and watch it. But if not, we're just gonna start this because it just truly is that good of a show and stuff. So that is what's up. Let me say what up to everybody out here in the chat before I turn the camera on and start chopping this up. What up to John Haymaker, repping with Don Tony Teflon. House Lawbridge, repping with the Don Tony Teflon. Jess Britvec, rocking with the Don Tony Teflon. Edward Martin is in the building. We got a bunch of more people. Wait up. We got a bunch of more people in here. Let's go through them real quick. Maud Mary is rocking with the Don Tony Teflon. Latanya Thomas is rocking with the Don Tony Teflon. Linda R is in the building rocking with me. My brother from another mother, Muhammad, is in the building right here. It seems that my man LT Giles dropped a comment on Facebook for us. Yes, we are live here on YouTube and also on Facebook. So if you can't watch YouTube, you can always catch this on Teflon TV on Facebook. We do it on both spots and everything else. So let's turn this camera. Let's get this picture up so y'all can see me. I'm sure y'all rather look at the picture than me, but goddamn it, it's my show, so you're gonna have to look at me. And there we go. There we are. We're here. What is the deal? What is the deal? What is the deal to all my people up in here? And listen, listen. Was this not a great? I asked the question. I asked the question from the first episode. I asked the question. I said that first episode was so good, so good. Could this show maintain? Could it maintain what they put out there on the first episode? That is what I thought the problem could be, because that episode was so good that they may not be able to just maintain it. And I'm telling you, some people I heard about the second episode, they said it was a bit slower and everything else. And, it wasn't a perfect 10 out of 10. The first episode, I gave 10 out of 10. Second episode, I think I gave it 8.5. I am right back to another 10 out of 10 on this episode. I think this episode could have been better than the first episode. This episode was so good. It was just a well thought out episode. It was just a well-rounded episode. The way that they did the whole thing about it. Now, maybe I didn't understand everything. We don't know. That's why I got y'all here to help me through it. And, I made a prediction last week. And that's why y'all should be out here watching this, everything else. I made a prediction last week, and the prediction came true. I told you what was going to happen with that damn Ouija board. I told y'all know it. Y'all know it. You can look it up. If you don't, look at that. My last predictions with the Ouija board. Spot on exactly what happened. But let's just go right through into this episode. All right. So we start the episode off, and we're in church. It's called the Holy Ghost, right? And in church, when they first show the church scene, Oh, I got someone rocking with me. She seems like if she's here. Let's check it out before we get in there. Whoop! There she is,
Hey,
lady Elamar.
sorry for being like, I think
No,
my
I
internet
was
was
early.
spooky. Okay, okay. No, no, yeah, just making sure my internet was kind of goofy, so I think it has something to do with the weird energy from that house. Uh, I was spooked.
All right. So we were just talking about. I was just talking
Mm.
about first. How are you? How are you doing?
I'm
You all right?
good. I'm a little
Nice.
scared. I'm gonna need company probably. I don't have my dog today to keep me company, so I'll be watching some puppy things on YouTube. That's what's scary. How are you, Tony?
I am all right. I am good. I when you see the first episode and everything else, you start to say to yourself, "Hey, can this?" I said, "Can this maintain that level of the first episode? Like,
Hmm.
could it still be as good as it's gonna fall off the ladder?" But it seems like I think I like this episode better than the first episode. How about you?
I liked it. I'm still scared. I liked it. It had different things, things I didn't expect, and yeah, it was better than the second one. Much better than the second
Yeah.
one. Yeah.
What I done. All right, let's get right into
Alrighty.
the episode. So we first see the first scene. It is. Oh, I'm sorry. I gotta do this. I keep forgetting. Now that you're here, we can do the official opening for us. All right. I'm sorry, folks. I know I'm a professional. I know I am. I know. I know. I have to say what you want. Here we go. Let's get it. What's the deal, my people? You know what it is, Don Tony Teflon, Lady LMR. You are watching the sexiest podcast in the world, the Lady and the Don, and we are repping Lovecraft Country,
Mhm.
Episode 3, Holy Ghost. It starts off with Holy Ghost in the title, and we see people in church. Now, I'm going to try to kind of believe that this is the funeral. Is that what you take it as? This was the funeral?
I didn't see it as a funeral, but I can imagine that being a funeral. I just there was too much happiness there, though.
It was a
Too much.
lot of happy. We got a super
Yeah.
chat right off the bat from my man Fernandez T, $20 in the building. Thank you, sir. We appreciate that so much. And it says, as usual, us West Coast fans are a little late, so I got you on mute while watching the episode. What's good, Tony and the chat fam? What up to you, brother? Thank you always. You always hold it down for the down. We truly appreciate it. So, catch the Holy Ghost is the name of the episode, and black people in church, especially Baptist churches and everything, are known for catching the Holy Ghost. And what that means, if people aren't familiar, is that they get in church and they start dancing like they're actually possessed by the Holy Ghost, and they can't stop moving and they can't stop juking around, and they just go into all these crazy dances and everything else. And that is what catching the Holy Ghost means. So we see them doing that in the beginning scene. I'm going to. I've been to funerals that were both ways. I've been to
Hmm.
funerals. Actually, black people funerals are very emotional. I'm telling people, if you have people never been to black people funerals, like Baptist funerals, they are very emotional. I've been to funerals where I've seen people dance like that and get up and do that. And I've been to funerals where I've seen ladies passing out,
Mm.
like one right after the other, all passing out and having to get fanned off and laying down like they go to the coffin, take a look, and then pass out.
Yeah.
So I've seen both. I've seen both ways. So the fact that Letty was crying makes me think that that's what it was. Was this was George's funeral?
Hmm.
Everything else, and then we get a time jump. Like 2 weeks like goes by, right? And you see Tick, he's
Yeah.
over there in the house and he's taking care of him, and she gets a little bit upset with him, and we find out later why is because he's misplacing the glasses. He's not doing the glasses the same way that her husband would do it,
Hmm.
and it's kind of like throwing her off a little bit. How did you feel about that whole situation, showing that with Tick and the first opening scene?
Hmm. I was trying to figure out how much time has passed since the. I'm assuming there must have been a funeral because they were already calm in a way. So I was trying to figure out, and then later on we do find out how much time has passed. Um, but um, I I was. maybe again, everybody grieves differently. Everybody has a different approach to it. I'm not gonna get into the details of what I saw over there, but I was, for some reason, I was surprised that uh, Tick and was it D? Was that her name?
The wife?
No, the daughter,
Yeah. D.
Georgia D. They were um again, maybe it's just that they were caught, or we caught them in the moment, like any day, everyday moment. They were fine, they were laughing. But then at the same time, I realized, yeah, we do have to laugh. We don't. We're not grieving. At least, not everybody grieves all the time. It's been a month, so obviously there has to be some happiness. They don't go crying all the time. But it is. I was surprised at their response, but then again, that's how I was trying to figure out how much time has actually passed. Yeah.
Yeah, I think when you deal with kids, especially with kids with passing away, and I was young and adults would pass away, obviously this is a different type of adult. This is, a dad adult. So it's a
Mm-hmm.
little different. But when I was a kid and adults would pass away, I didn't take it as serious as the adults did. Like
Mm-hmm.
it didn't affect me until I got older. Or I think the first time it really affected me, someone passing away, was when it was my friend that
Okay.
passed away. Like it took that. And I have seen uncles pass away and everything else. And that never affected me. And like all the time, like I remember being at funerals with the
Mm-hmm.
other kids and like playing in the back while the funeral was going on,
Yeah.
and just staying back there and playing around and doing things like that. So I think that it's kind of like that with her. Like still a little shocked, but she's young, so she's not that she's over it or anything like that.
Yeah.
But she just doesn't, express herself like her mom's expressed herself, as obviously someone who's lived with the man for all
Mm-hmm.
those years, and she's upset
Yeah.
that the glasses aren't the way that he would do it. And I guess little things like that would get to you. Those would be type things. I thought it was Ghost doing it. Now,
Yeah.
that's
No,
what I
I think
thought.
so. Maybe, who knows? We don't know yet, right?
No, we don't. We don't.
Yeah.
She assumes it was Tick. She assumes it was, I don't know if she's
Mm-hmm.
seen him do it, but she assumes that it was him. So we
Yep.
see him. He wears out his welcome there, and
Mm-hmm.
a lot of times, that's called borrowed time, right? I think everybody's been there where you stayed on someone and you just know that you're on borrowed time and your time is up and it's time to get
Mm-hmm.
out, right? So he realizes that, so he goes, and we see, I don't know, I can't remember what we see how this we see Letty,
Mm-hmm.
and she inherits some money supposedly from her mother. Now she says first that she made the number money playing the numbers
Yeah.
game.
Yeah.
That's basically like that was back in the day. It was like the lottery back in the day, run
Mm-hmm.
by the mafia, and that's
Uh,
basically what it was back then. It was a lottery. It was a lottery, just like, but it was run by the mafia. It wasn't run by the state of New York or anything.
mm-hmm.
So yeah, people said, she said she won that, and she goes and she invests in this big house,
Mm-hmm.
huge house, and it's so big that she decides that, hey, I don't want to live in this house by myself. I really want to
Yeah.
make this a boarding house, for other black people to come down here and live out here and live in a good neighborhood. Just so happens to be in a white neighborhood where it's at.
Mm-hmm.
So, how did you feel about that introduction of the house and Letty?
Oh my gosh, when I saw that house, I was like, do not go in there. Do not go in there. It reminded me of I think they have on Facebook somewhere they post like, oh, what do you feel when you see these houses? And that reminded me of one of those really, really creepy houses. And um no amount of paint that can be painted on the outside of that house to make it less creepy. It looked really like it didn't belong there. It looked really, really scary. But I was interested to see where the money was from. I knew there was something there. I did not expect it to be inheritance, or later on, like we find out, not actually inheritance. I thought it's something different. I didn't expect it to be whatever it turned out to be, though.
Yeah, it came out of nowhere,
Yeah.
because you when you go from the last week's episode right to this episode, it's like it's boom, all of a sudden she's
Mm-hmm.
got this cheddar and she's buying
Yep.
houses and everything else, and you get the first tingle that something's up in this house. You
Mm-hmm.
know, when she's going to the elevator,
Ah,
and all of a sudden the elevator just comes down, almost takes her head off and stuff.
yeah. No, when they said elevator, I'm like, aha.
Hmm.
Elevator. There's an elevator. I was already freaking out at that moment. I do get freaked out by stuff like that. So I don't know. I was just like at the edge of my seat, literally, or actually not at the edge. I was trying to hide behind pillows. Yeah, already at that moment. That was
Yeah.
scary. The elevator thing. Yeah. No,
You
it
know,
was.
I think that they did a good job. You know, a lot of shows that try to go for that scary stuff
Mhm.
don't pull it off. You
Yeah.
know, they truly don't pull it off. And I really think that this show really does pull it off. It does have that creepiness factor, and the
Mm-hmm.
jump scares in there
Ugh.
actually truly work.
Yeah. Yeah. And Tolkis is right. Uh, it says here, I wouldn't get in that elevator. No, I wouldn't either. I'm like, I would take the stairs. It's good for you. Good for you people. Do not do elevators.
Yeah, Joe,
Oh,
did you find it creepy because the house was old, or was it something else?
there was something about it. It looked like it was I'm sure they used some kind of filter on it. I don't think the houses look like that, because if they do, I don't want to see them. But there was something about the house. It didn't just look. There was a. It's strange to say that if you would have a feeling, because it's in a series, it's on a TV, but it looked weird to me. There's something about it, not just
Yeah.
the creepy just from looking outside. They did a great job. Like, okay, this is a house. Obviously, we knew from the trailer, right? But like, yeah, that's a perfect house, and I think it's in Chicago. They said it's a north side of Chicago somewhere. So great. I'm not going there anywhere. Someone, I'm like, how close is it to me? I did not Google that. I will though later. Hopefully,
Yeah,
it's
so
far away from me.
you know, we hope it is far away. I'm sure it is. So you know, you get in there, and you know, we see, you know, the first signs of stuff going wrong, right? She
Mm-hmm.
plans on doing that. The sister doesn't really want to do it. She convinces the sister to go in with her and everything else. And it seems like everything is going right. You know what I mean? It seems like she starts fixing the house up and everything else. She starts getting in it. And listen, you knew it was going to be some problem with the neighbors. It was pretty
Mm-hmm.
obvious that this was going to happen. You know, and I'm jumping around a little bit, but we get that they throw a really nice big house party there. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I'm jumping over stuff real quick, but they throw the house party, and you know, I love a house party. I truly do, and I see how, you know, it was back then. You know, now back then when I was young, you get a house party, you got a DJ in there. This back then, you had to have a live band in there. You had that, or you weren't going to have that music, or or anything like that. So,
Mm-hmm.
how did you feel about the house party?
Oh, I wanted to be there. I wanted to see what kind of food they have, and I wanted to see what she's serving. And that picture she had a beautiful dress, and it everything just was so nice. And I don't know if that house was huge. It said like it had 13 bedrooms upstairs or somewhere, and then all that stuff downstairs. It was after she was done with it. It was gorgeous. It did obviously it was kind of spooky, kind of gorgeous, but yeah.
Yeah, and listen,
Uh,
13 bedrooms, you know, you
yes.
got 11 rooms to rent out, that means. You know, so you're making a pretty good penny with that right there, you know, having the
Mm-hmm.
people up in there and stuff, you know. And then obviously while they're doing that, we get the horns. The horns are still going off a little bit before that.
Mm-hmm.
When they were in there. We
Oh,
see the
yeah.
guys, you know, and how many cars do you have that you
Mm-hmm.
have the ability to put a brick on your car on your horn
Yep.
and just leave it for days?
Yeah. And there's a house across the street. So it's not like it's only directed towards her house.
Mm-hmm.
It's everywhere. The noise is everywhere.
Everywhere, and it's just
Yeah.
like, it's all right. Hey, we just leave it
Yeah.
on, and nobody cares. The next door neighbors across the street, they don't care. No one cares, and
Mm-hmm.
you can see that the cops are definitely down with them. They know the cops are down with them, and that's why they're actually as bold as they are. You know, because they know that the
Yep.
cops are with them. If the cops were not with them, you know, they would not have been so bold. You know, and it was I love the scene where, you know, Letty just said, you know what, enough of this bullshit right now. Let me
Yeah.
grab up my bat. Everybody went out there. They grabbed up their shotguns and they went out
Yeah.
there. And she just let loose. How'd you feel about that?
Oh my god. I love that scene. I love that scene. The way, I mean, stuff build up to that scene. She was just kind of emotional at that point too, and obviously would be the burning cross in the back in the front yard is reason enough, but then who knows, maybe she would have reacted differently, but she had this extra um things, because stuff happened right before that too, and
Mm-hmm.
she was kind of emotional. But oh my goodness, the way she swung that bat, I just heard the windows break, and it was so satisfying. But then again, when she was kind of she knew what's coming. The cops were like right there,
They
they
all know.
knew it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why they had it all planned. As
Yeah.
soon as that went down, her sister went and grabbed the cars. They
Yeah.
took their guns, they threw it in the cars, and she took off with all the guns.
Yeah.
And they got right on their knees because they knew they were going to
Yeah.
jail for it. Even though they were
Yeah.
100% in the right to do
Yeah.
it and
Of course.
everything else, this is the time they listen.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the time today, too. This is
Mm-hmm.
nothing has really changed that much. That something like that would have happened.
Mm-hmm.
And most likely you would go to jail today if something like that would happen. You know what I mean? It's the same exact
Mm-hmm.
situation. But she went ape shit on those windows
Yeah.
and those cars, and she just went out off on every one of them. And that's how you could see how scaredy cats these neighbors are, because they were scared to death.
Yeah.
They were shaking
Just
back then, like
yeah.
they're all tough when you got numbers, but when there's people start coming back at you, you ain't that tough.
Yeah.
But a little bit before that, during the house party, we see her dancing, getting it down with this dude, and this dude is
Mm-hmm.
all over. Then we got this guy that we find out is making up lies, right? He's making up
Yeah.
lies about it, saying, "Oh, I used to tussle with her,
Yeah.
and I'm thinking about going back and doing it again." You know
Yeah.
what I
He was
mean?
nostalgic.
Yeah, and everything else like that. Oh, we got a comment from Facebook. We don't really get one. It's from John St. Baptiste. He says, Hey,
Hey,
John
John.
St. Baptiste, thank you for watching. We truly, truly appreciate that, especially people from Facebook. We don't get that many viewers
Mm-hmm.
from Facebook, but we're going to keep putting it on there just in case we do, because, some people just
Mm-hmm.
can't get to YouTube, and that's just what it is.
Yep.
So yeah, there's a guy's over here lying on his dick, and there's a lot of guys who do that, and I'm telling
Mm-hmm.
you guys, that's nothing manly about that, right? Don't be lying on yourself. Don't be lying on it and stuff like that, especially grown men. I hate grown men that be doing that. But this guy's lying. He's like, listen, if that's your piece, you best to step to it and let her know what it is, because this guy was grinding all over. I mean, he was as close to as you could get. Like,
Yeah.
and she
Yeah.
knew what she was doing.
Mm-hmm.
She looked back and she seen him looking, and she got more into it, knowing
Mm-hmm.
she was gonna get this guy jealous. And finally, it worked. I mean, sometimes you got to play that card. How did you think about how she handled that?
Um. It was interesting. I at first, like, because they ended up in the bathroom, right? They ended up in the
Mm-hmm.
bathroom, and besides, like, at first, I didn't know that what was actually happening, if it was actually happening or not, because I was kind of fooled with the scene or with the episode before that, when it was kind of her imagination, and we see kinds of already creepy stuff there in the mirror. There's this dead guy, and then before then there was this creepy hand and the person, so we know that something is going on. So when they actually started doing what they were doing, I wasn't sure if they're actually doing it. I'm like, oh, okay, that looks hot. I mean, we again saw you know what ladies wanted to see. I guess what everybody wanted to see, they
No,
finally. No.
no, no,
Were
no,
you
not what I
okay?
want.
I
No,
was
not
covering.
me.
I was covering up when my face, like, trying to, like, okay, I can't look when the creepy stuff was happening. But again, like, I came, I took the pillows away when that was happening. So I guess that was a good thing. I liked it, but I was surprised at the way he kind of like just disappeared, which is fine. I mean, I guess people do that too, but I thought that, they would kind of hang out at the party later, which they did not. Well, later we have a burning of the cross in the
Mm-hmm.
front yard, but still, I wasn't sure if it actually happened up until we find out that it actually, I think, happened. He confirms it. So I was just kind of surprised how nonchalant he was about it.
I was,
Yeah.
I seen it like when she was, when she was bleeding and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know if that freaked him out a little bit. Or,
Mhm.
I thought like when she was bleeding, I thought it was some like ghost stuff going
Yeah,
on. I
me
initially see it.
too.
I'm like, what happened? Is it some
Yeah.
ghost possession thing? Why is she bleeding
Yeah.
like that? I mean, later we find out exactly why she's bleeding and stuff. And she tells
Yeah.
them that, hey, this is, that was my first time ever. And that's how we know that that guy was lying on his dick saying that he was with her
Yeah.
back in the day and all of that. Oh, you guys, don't be doing that. All right. That's not becoming. Don't lie on women like that. Don't be doing that. I know a lot of guys who do that too. You
Mm.
know what I mean? But yeah,
Mhm.
it just seemed like he did move away really fast.
Yeah.
Like he was out. Like it seemed like as soon as he was done, he pulled his pants right back up and done. And he
Like
was
10 seconds and he was out of the room or
well, 10
bathroom.
seconds he was done too. Let's
Well,
call it.
yeah.
Let's call it what it is.
True. Well, it looked like she did enjoy herself. It's not like she didn't. However, just I don't know, stay around for a moment. Don't just leave. It's kind of weird. It looked kind of weird to me. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, because she says, she goes, hey, we gonna, am I gonna see you or like hang out with
Yeah.
you and stuff? And it seems like he is, and stuff, because he was talking about going back to Florida and getting out of there
Mhm.
and stuff. And then he just got, he got jealous. And I've been there as a man. I think that's what women. That's one of the good things that women can do. A lot of times, if it's too easy, guys don't want it. At least if you're dealing with me, the Don Tony Teflon. If it's too easy, like, but when you see, it's that thing that when you see somebody else want it, it makes you want it more, or it makes you think that you have a possibility of losing it,
Mhm.
and that makes you more interested, or make you have to do what you have to do. And I think that's what happened to him in that scene. He just got to the point where it was just like, I'm gonna lose this chick, yeah, I gotta stay, and that's it. So, and I don't
Mhm.
want to. Oh, so that's why he did what he had to do. And it was a very, very quick scene in more ways
Yeah.
than one.
Yeah. I the moment, I mean, it was fine while they were doing it, I guess. But then after, I was kind of, nah, I didn't see that as a dynamic that they were building up towards. Yeah.
Scott Gray says it was a symbol of her becoming a woman. So did you see it like that? Like this was a symbol of her becoming a woman losing her virginity, and then just getting fed up with the whole shit outside and going outside with the bat immediately after, and just busting up the car.
I thought that she was just, I don't know about becoming a woman. I think like she later on says that she needed to feel something.
Mhm.
I'm sure she felt a lot of things that at that moment, and good for her. Um, but when she was sitting there on the couch just after the bathroom scene, she didn't seem okay. It wasn't like she was like she was happy. She looked bothered. She looked that there is something on her mind, and then we see the cross, and then she just completely loses it.
Yeah,
Takes
so
that bad, and yeah.
Scott clarified. He says throughout the whole episode, from spoiled brat to a woman at the end of the episode, is what he's saying, that she
Hmm.
became, like, she grew up during that
There's a
episode.
lot of, yeah, there was a lot of growing up at that moment. I mean, she took charge. She took charge of it was her house, and like Kev at on top of there, over there somewhere, said it's scrolled up over there already, that it's her house now. It is her house, so she did it. She will with help with others, but yeah, she regained control. So in a way, yeah, she became a woman in that way. Not that, um those things make you a woman. There are other things that make you a woman, but she finally took charge of something,
No,
I think.
we got a super chat from Low Garden Bird Lady. Thank you so much. 1999, saying just because. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
We truly, truly, truly appreciate it. And I'd be reminiscent if not to say we were talking about this episode, but real quick, rest in peace to Chadwick Boseman,
Hmm.
great actor who passed away too early from prostate cancer. He'll always be remembered, and that's the bottom line. I'm going to watch a bunch of his movies, and people should just watch him because he's just great actor and a great human being, and he fought
Mhm.
every day of his life that he had. And I would just say that to anybody, if you really wanted to honor him, let's try to get some laws passed here. I think it takes, you have to be 50 years old in order for insurances to cover you for colon cancer. Let's vote the
Mhm.
right people in office so that we can get that law changed, so that insurance companies have to cover people for colon cancer whenever they want to
Mhm.
get tested for it. You shouldn't have to wait to 50, because this man died in his early 40s. And maybe if he was able to get tested, I'm sure he had the money to get tested and everything else, but he probably didn't get tested early because he probably didn't think it was a disease that
Yeah,
affected people that early.
doctors don't even recommend that stuff until you hit of that age. Let's say for women, the mammogram screenings I think are around 30 or 35, but that can happen to anybody at any age. So yeah, doctors, yeah,
Yeah.
they say what insurance tells them to say sometimes.
Yeah, so let's just try, get the right
Mhm.
people in office, and then that way we can change these laws. We can
Yeah.
start a whole thing, Chadwick Boseman bill, to get it passed, to get that prostate cancer
Mhm.
thing again
Colon
down, so
cancer.
people could just take.
Yeah.
Let's start that. Let's start that, and
Mhm.
rest in peace to him. All right, we're gonna go on to what we're doing, talking about this episode. So we see Letty inside the cop car. I'm going to take it that they all got booked up, not just
Yeah.
her. We only see her.
Yeah.
And then that's when we start learning some stuff. The cop is in there and he's questioning her and like, who told you to buy this house? Why did you
Mhm.
buy this house? And then he grabs a strap and then they just
Mhm.
start flinging, doing sharp turns and
Yep.
flinging her all across the paddy wagon, bumping her head and everything else. And
Mhm.
though he was trying to get information out of her, she got a lot of information out of him.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. The moment that when he put his hand into that, I'm like, great, there we go. Let's see what's gonna happen now. And at first I'm thinking, okay, if she kind of braces somehow, there's no way of bracing. She had her handcuffs on, or the handcuffs were on, so there's no way you can, if there's no seat belts, if yeah, there was no way for her to avoid that. And I
No.
wondered how long they were doing that because what did he say? Like, you have to give us whatever, it's gonna stop, or this will go on as long as it has to go on until you give us the information. I wonder if she did though.
Yeah, but there was really no information, because the information he wanted was
Yeah.
who gave you the money to get this place and
Mm-hmm.
who told you to buy this place.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't know if anyone told her to buy that place. I
Mm.
I, I think she just bought it on her own,
Hmm.
myself. You know what I mean? Um, So I don't know if that was the case at all. So I didn't see anything in the episode saying that, hey, she brought this, someone told her to get that and everything else. And I don't think that she knew the truth of where the money came
Mm-hmm.
from. So I don't think she figured that
Yeah,
out.
she was baffled by the whole thing. Like, she was
Mhm.
talking to her sister. Like, their mom never does anything just to do something for anybody. There's always an ulterior motive to that, and she didn't know why. Her mom would give her that money, and only to her. And I was curious too, but it's not for her sister, not to be split. It was directly for her, for Letty.
And it wasn't like, as her sister said, like, you don't even carry her last name. You don't have the same last name
Mm-hmm.
as her. You never came to her funeral, but yet she left this money to you.
Yep. Yep.
And I'm telling you, and I've seen it happen a million times. Unfortunately, though, when people pass away, that is the destroyer of families,
Mm.
especially when it comes to inheritance and everything else. That just splits people apart all the time. And we've seen it almost happening with her and her sister. We've seen it going down like that. Oh, you should have split the money with us. You should have did this. You should have did that, and everything else. Even though she bought the house and she brought her sister in it, you know what I mean, and made her
Mm-hmm.
a part
Mm-hmm.
of it, her sister was
Yep.
still more upset, I think, that her mom gave it all to her more than
Yeah.
anything else.
Yeah, and
I
that
think.
Letty still didn't appreciate her apparently after death by coming to the funeral.
Mhm.
Like, even in that, still a
Yeah.
mystery. Because at that point, and it made me, when she said that, it made me realize that the stuff that we had between Letty and Tick did not even happen in the previous one. So Tick doesn't know about her mom and how the situation was. So even though I think they're kind of, I keep thinking that they're that close. They're not that close. He doesn't know about her struggle. So it's kind of it is disappointing to know that he doesn't know about her mom.
What up to HippieCarGuy in the building, rocking with us right here, and we are here
Yep.
every week after the episode,
Mm-hmm.
breaking it down. In case people are here for the first time, make sure you subscribe so that you can get that notification. And we're going to be here every week, just about 10:15 or so, right after the episode, breaking it down every week here live. And join all of us in the chat right here. And the Don Lady and the Don. All right, so she gets to she goes back.
Mm-hmm.
And this is, I think, this is when the first like real. I mean, before the covers get snatched off her, but she doesn't really get the scare until all the banging and stuff like that. This is when she really realizes that there's a big problem and stuff like that, and she starts putting it together and starts doing her investigation. And I thought the investigation she did was very smart. Like she pieced the whole thing together. How did you like it when they had the, because Tick tells her, hey, this is a good place for a dark room for her to develop her pictures, down there.
Yeah.
And then when she does it and then she puts the red light and she sees the slices, how did you like the special effects of the head coming out of the picture?
Well, first, when I saw the first thing that I saw that we all see is that hand, right? And on day 5, and then the hand, I'm like, I know it's HBO and it's creepy, and I was creeped out by it, but it was obviously, maybe I'm just spoiled by other stuff, but it looked kind of like the CGI, hands. It was interesting to see that head popping up. At first, when she was just trying to pull those pictures or those photos down, I didn't know what she's looking at. I'm thinking, I need to adjust the light in my room or something on the TV, but there's no time. Like, what is she seeing? Come on, show me. I can't see what is it. What is it? So I don't know if anybody else saw the stuff in the pictures. I didn't see it. I don't know what she was looking at. And then when the head was kind of coming up, it reminded me of those 80s, which is not a bad thing. Like one of those 80s, I guess, mid 80s horror movies. Kind of a shout out to that. I kind of cheesy, but it was okay. I mean, I didn't. The image later on that we see of that house owner, it didn't remind me at all of that head that was kind of coming up from those photos. But still, I mean, it was, I don't know. I was scared by the entire thing. I am scared by movies like that and shows like that. So it worked for me. Kind of cheesy, but I still was scared.
Yeah, I'm going to go back a little bit because, I made a prediction last week on the Lady Dog podcast about this episode. And the prediction was that on the Ouija board, they were going to find, it was going to be George on the Ouija board. And that is the name that popped up, was George. That was the name. Now, do you think that was George, or do you think it was just the ghost who spelled out George?
I still think that we can. I am I think I'm in denial. I'm just being hopeful. I think that there has to be something more to that, because if they just let him go like this, I'll be disappointed. I'll be truly disappointed if he doesn't come back. The longer they wait, maybe it's going to be season 2. Maybe they're going to wait for him to come back. But I, like with the Vikings, I was hoping that the main character will come back. He never did. I was disappointed. The other shows that I wanted somebody to come back, they never did. I was disappointed. So I don't know. I still think it's George, and I'm hoping that it's gonna be, resolved later. That they won't just like, oh, it was George. Ooh, okay, never mind. What George? What about you, Tony?
All the people in the chat were asking you the same question. Do you think it was George, or do you think it was a ghost that spelled that out there?
I think it was George.
I'm gonna say I think it was George because I wanted to be, because I predicted it.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, but I
No.
do. I think it was George. I think it was George that was there. That's my. I mean, it could have been a ghost. There's no
Mhm.
doubt about it.
Well, he's a ghost, right?
Yeah, he
His
is a
body.
ghost.
She saw his body. They buried him. So I don't know, how is he gonna come back? Is he gonna come back in the body of the father? Maybe the father just uh, hopefully he won't like rise from the dead.
But she
Oh, is
said
there
that
an echo? Is it just
he said it said well, it said George is dead. That's what it spelled out. George is dead. Because first,
mm.
so
Oh, see, I thought I didn't catch the rest of that.
no, I didn't catch it
Mm.
because it was going too fast. But Jess Britt has got that down. The eyes
That
must be
makes
working.
sense. Because I saw a letter D and an S. So okay, yeah, is dead.
Jonathan says that
Hmm.
George wouldn't do that to his daughter.
Hmm.
We got someone else from Facebook here rocking with us that never heard of before. Exus Jade Mick White. This episode was beast, no doubt about it. And if you're a
Mm-hmm.
new person, never seen you before, just know that laying it down, we do this every week after the episode. You can watch on Teflon TV on Facebook, and if you can't make it on Facebook, come over to YouTube. And anything that you put in Facebook will be showed here. All the YouTube people will be able to, so you can interact with the chat just like that. So it's all good. Some people say it's Uncle George. Taylor Tot says Uncle George is the one.
Hmm.
Right there. And Brand says that it was George, then he would have said daddy as his daughter saw the message.
Hmm. That's kind of sad. I mean, see, that gives a different light to it. If it's actually said that George is dead, um, then then
Yeah, if this
it is
George is
just
dead,
sad.
it makes you think it's not George, right? Why would he put George as
Yeah,
dead?
yeah. If because I didn't catch that part. If that is actually that, then because that dude who owned that house, I mean, how more evil can you get, right?
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. So
AK
if
says I don't watch the
yeah.
show, but AK says George to me is gonna be like Grams from Charm, dead but still comes through to help when needed. I don't never watched Charm, so I have no
I
idea
haven't.
what
I don't know
I know what
about
the
that.
show is,
Yeah.
but I never watched it, so I don't know what that is.
Hmm.
Guardian Lady Bird Lady says George is such a common name. George who? Yeah,
Just
yes,
true.
it's not George Jefferson. I'll tell you that. Even though they played the "Moving On Up" song before that, it wasn't George Jefferson. So I thought that when she put the pictures on the floor, it was gonna spell out
Mhm.
like a name. I didn't see it
Yeah.
like making a face and then the face coming like I thought it was gonna be like a
Hmm.
name. I thought it was gonna say George or some message that George
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
sending. That's what I thought it was. And then the head came out and everything else. And I liked the head. I thought, as you said, it wasn't the greatest special effects, of course not, but it doesn't have to be the greatest if the
Hmm.
acting is done right,
Oh
right?
yeah.
And she has killed it this season so
Oh
far.
yeah.
Everything, whether it's being playing the sexy vamp, whoever we like to call her,
Hmm.
or being a strong woman, or
Hmm.
being scared, or just running.
Oh, those
Everything
stairs. Oh, how
everything
she
she's
run. Yeah.
done she's done a good
Yeah.
job. Every emotion that you have to portray that she's been asked to portray so far, it's all 100% believable.
Hmm.
So she has truly been I think she's the star of
Yeah.
the show. I mean,
It was her episode this
it
time. This was
definitely was
her.
her
Yeah.
episode, and I
Yeah.
and I, and I like the fact that they gave her an episode. That
Hmm.
she deserved to have an episode, and a lot of times they don't do that. Like they keep focusing on you would think that Tick is the main character in this whole thing, but to me, I started looking at the show. Tick is the main guy. He's the guy with the bloodline, but
Hmm.
she's been killing it the most to me in these episodes. Like she's the MVP so far of this season,
Hmm.
without a shadow of a doubt.
Yeah. And she's gorgeous too. Even with the we see her in all kinds of clothes and all kinds of makeup, no makeup, hair done, no hair done. She's just gorgeous. And even when she was covered in all that whatever it was, water, sprinkler water in that basement. I mean, how much dirtier can you get unless, you roll in the mud outside, in the water. She was gorgeous. And all that yelling, all that power in her, I felt it. I felt everything. She pulled me into the episode. Like into that. Yeah, she was great. She was really great.
Yeah, so it definitely was the episode. It was her episode, and she did a great job at being focusing everything on my Mary's like Letty. Letty is her favorite so far. And
Mhm.
Martin's like she's fine. Letty is fabulous. I
Mhm.
agree with you. Toka saying I started to think that Tick is second to Letty. I may have to agree. It seems like we'll see what happens next episode. But she's the one I'm looking forward to see. We got Bridge Fours in the building. He says, "Oops, I forgot. I was behind a few minutes. LOL, ignore me." That is all right, brother. That is all right. So we go from that and everything else. She goes inside of. I think they're in the bar at the time with Tick,
Mhm.
and then that's when she starts figuring out everything
Yeah.
that was going on there.
Yeah.
And she's doing her detective work, her Batman work, and she's pulling up
Yeah.
the articles and everything else, and she basically solved the case.
Yeah. Yeah.
she
Yeah.
she solved it just like that. She did a research, and it's just great that especially like she knows that in Tick there's someone who's going to believe it. Like, oh, a
Mhm.
lot of people, hey, there's ghosts haunting me. Yeah, sure, there's ghosts. But after what they've been through,
Yeah.
they're going to believe anything. And that's why he was just like running past me. And she broke it down. How did you like her detective work and everything else? And I'm showing that. And I liked it, me personally, before you get into it.
Yeah.
I would say that I like it that, you know what I like about Letty a lot? That she is not that damsel in distress, right?
Mhm.
She don't need no man to save her. She didn't need no man to figure that out.
Mhm.
She did all that shit on her own.
Yeah.
And I like the way that they let her do that. So go ahead.
Yeah. So over there, when she was sitting at that table, she had all the newspaper clippings over there with all the like the faces and everything. And she, like you said, she didn't have anybody next to her to figure it out. She already had it. She just presented it to him. Like, okay, this is what this is. The house is haunted. It's not like, oh, let's sit down here. I'm gonna need somebody to brainstorm it with. No, she had it done. I like that they didn't have her that they didn't put her with somebody. Okay, she's gonna need help. No, she did it
Mm-hmm.
by herself, and she just presented it to him and showed it to us. That at that moment we knew that she knew, but then the question was, okay, now what? And then we see what what
Mm-hmm.
she did about that.
Yeah, and when she put it together, so
Yeah.
basically she put it together that there was this guy who was a scientist.
Mhm.
We've seen George's wife go upstairs and find his like this planetary thing up there, sculpture
Mhm.
upstairs. Ironic that she's an astronomer herself, that she finds that, right? And
Mhm.
that this guy was there, and it seemed like he was in an academy, and it seems like he was doing experiments on black people, and it seems like the cop was the one that was bringing him the black people
Mhm.
to experiment on, abducting these black
Yeah.
people and experimenting on these black people and stuff, and that cop, what a fool, for someone who's committed a crime like he did multiple times over.
Mhm.
Why would you be so vocal about saying, well, you know what
Yeah.
happened in that house, right? Why would you say that? Why would you draw attention to that
Yeah.
at all? Was this
Maybe
plan to try to
scare them
scare
off.
her?
Maybe. Maybe, but then, like, if they all know that, then I mean, that neighborhood must. They think it, and were putting up those signs. It said like, those. I wonder if those signs actually were. They existed in the past. Like, if actually people actually had those signs out there. It says something. This is a white neighborhood.
Mm-hmm,
And putting all those signs, but then uh, besides that, there's this house, this haunted house, and so technically, if they want harm to happen to anybody, they would let them be there, not get them out of there.
mm-hmm,
So I was just kind of confused by what his goal was. Is he involved in some way with the house, the energy of the house? Because besides being racist, he seemed kind of creepy and spooky to me. Like he's part of that. Like he's part of that, whatever it is that they're trying to do, or I'm not trying to do, but like later on we see what's her name, Christina. I thought that she was connected to the house as well. I don't know.
mm-hmm.
Maybe I just read it the wrong way. Um,
No, it seemed like the cop, maybe he knew that there's bodies down there somewhere.
Mm.
and he didn't want her out. He wanted her out of the house, not to
Mm.
find it. You know what I mean? Because we find
True.
that out later with the elevator and
Yeah.
everything else. The last scene, which is still a great scene, I think it's a
Yeah.
great way to end it. But we'll get to that in a second. But I think you wouldn't want to draw that much attention. It seemed like he was
Mhm.
trying to draw his head. But Jonathan Harris says the cop was trying to intimidate her, thought someone was tipping her off.
Mhm.
It did seem something like that. Bridge 4 says, Lamar, it goes back to the shed scene with vampires. Racists are so blinded by hate that they can't see the real monsters even when they're right in front of them.
Mhm.
Which is a very good point, Bridge 4, that you put there. And you had that shed scene with the vampires, and when you seen that in the first episodes and stuff, that
Mhm.
they hated them so much still that wound up getting them killed
Yeah.
because they weren't willing to work together. But see, usually that's a different situation because you hear like in an army, right? There's no race when you're in the foxhole, right? When everyone's
Mm.
life is on the line and you're back to back, you just want that person to protect your back. You don't care who it is. You know what I mean? So you would think it would be a situation like that, but it definitely wasn't in that situation. So Kev, definitely a good point. And Brand says the cop wanted to scare her out of the house.
Mm.
And you listen, when you see these signs about these white people saying, oh, this is a white neighborhood and everything
Mhm.
else, that fear mongering that people are saying, that still goes on to this day. To this
Mm.
very day, there are people who still feel that way, who still don't want people to move into the neighborhood and stuff. Like my friend Lori Joe, she just moved down to Florida, and when she was looking for a place, and she's from Queens, she's from my neighborhood, like she told her husband, like, I'm not moving to no all white neighborhood. She said, I gotta have some black people and Spanish people around me because it's boring. He said, I want to be an all white neighborhood. That shit is boring. So I need to have some soul around me and stuff. I need to have people around, to get that I can rock with and stuff. See that I need everyone around me. I don't like this one. And I can understand that is boring. When I came to upstate New York and everything else, I was the only black person in the school. And I remember being the only black person, in the country on the block where we were at, and we used to be out there. And, back in the day, I was a young kid and everything else. And, my little sister was there and we used to play on the CB, because that's what you had back then. You didn't have cell phones, you didn't have nothing, but you had CB radio. You get on
Mhm.
the CB and you could talk to other people that had CBs and truckers and stuff like that. And then it got to the point where we all had code names, and you make up your little code name, on the CB and everything else, and all that. And my code name was Sticky Fingers, actually.
Okay.
That's what it was. And
Oh my.
it got to the point where people started knowing who we were, and they used to always say, "Hey, it's the ends of Flat Creek. It's the N word of Flat Creek's on a CB. The N words of Flat Creek used to be up there." And
Mm.
we were little kids, and they would say that to us all the time just because we were on the CB.
Mm.
And then I remember my dad, and my dad was a big dude. My dad was 6'7". He's probably like 270 pounds and stuff like that. And he heard them saying that to us on the CB, and he just grabbed the CB and he just lost his mind. He was like, "You people know who I am. I don't know who you are. So you got the advantage. Come up to me and say that shit. You want to talk to little kids like that? Come up to me and say that right now. Blah, 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 blah. You know where I'll be at. You know what I look like. You know who we are. Blah, blah." And it never happened again. It never happened again. No one ever said that to us again on the CB. But that's just the way people are when they just get into
Mm.
these groups and everything, and I see it now, like on Call of Duty. Like my nephew doesn't play Call of Duty anymore, and he's very young. He's like 7 years old. He don't play it because of all the racist stuff and the curse words
Mhm.
that he hears on Call of Duty. And I
Yeah.
think it's the same thing when dealing with the internet. They just moved off of the CB to the internet to all these things, and they think that you make
Yeah.
up these names for yourself and everything else. But that's what basically all this stuff is just the CB on steroids, right?
Yeah. It's so easy for a lot of trolls to just hide. They have no pictures. They have made up pictures, and they don't have a face. They don't actually have a voice. They have, keyboards this
Hmm.
time. They're very brave behind all that. But when it comes to actually meeting somebody and doing something, like, yeah, please.
Yeah,
They
no,
will.
that's why
Yeah.
people know. Listen, It is what it is. People say what they want. Just come to the con, and we'll talk about it. Let's come to the con. Don't let the face fool you, huh? Don't let this face fool you. I'm from Queens, New York. Believe that. All right. Anyway, all right. So we go through all that with Nettie. She then hires a spiritual advisor, right? Basically, like, well, what would that be? A medium? You think she is?
Yeah, I medium, but also as a goat. I was like, oh, we're gonna see something tonight. Yeah,
Oh
that
yeah,
that was
and the whole thing was like you got the neighbors
yeah,
next door. You know what I mean? Staring over,
yeah,
and they cut the goat's neck and they get the blood, and she's like, "Listen, right there." You know what I mean? We got Matthew
yeah.
Spruce on Facebook watching right
Hey,
now.
Matthew.
Right there. What's up, Matthew? Thank you for joining us. See, I guess the Facebook thing does work. We gotta keep doing it. John Harris say a little voodoo. I don't know if it's a little voodoo. I
Yeah.
don't know if I can consider it voodoo.
Well, they
Was
were
it
speaking.
voodoo?
She was speaking it. What's the? How do you pronounce it? Creole, the language,
Was
or
it Creole?
yeah, it said in subtitles. She was chanting in Creole, so
All right, so it
I'm
may be
thinking
voodoo then.
voodoo. Yeah. Yeah, that was scary at first. Okay, I don't know what the procedures are for that, but when she kind of straddled that goat, I thought she's gonna like go. I kind of started to laugh a little bit because I thought she's gonna go in on that goat into the house. I'm like, oh please, I don't. And then of course I stopped laughing when the goat was dead. After that, but I had no idea what the procedure for it is. I found it kind of funny at first, like what is she gonna do with this goat? And I'm like, oh yeah, she just killed it. Okay, that's what happened to the goat.
I thought
Yeah.
you were gonna make some curry with that.
Oh my god.
I thought you were gonna make some curry with that goat, girl. We gonna eat good tonight. But she goes and she puts the crosses on the heads of these people, right?
Yeah.
And of course, everyone's had to go inside, to go down to the basement, and they're down
Yeah.
there. She's like, all right, this is where they're at right here. We're gonna fall. And she said at the time, like, it seemed like she was trying to tell them, to come in, like she was like, jump
Yeah.
inside my body. That's what I thought she was telling them to do. Like I'm your medium, come inside of me. She started chanting the words and everything else.
Yeah.
And then as soon as that's going down, the chanting and everything else is going down. Then we see the three white dudes break into the house with baseball bats, like they're
hmm
big tough guys with these.
and no crosses, no actual crosses on their foreheads. I'm like, yep, there's a sacrifice.
Yep, there it is. And there was
Yeah.
no course. They should have known better.
Yeah.
They go off and told us, curry goat, sign me up. Yes, indeed.
Curry goat. No, I'm hungry and scared at the same time. The goat, but then I want some curry from AK. Oh.
That curry was great.
It was delicious, yeah.
And I want to say that for my girl Bernie, she sent me this picture right here.
That is so cool.
Boop, 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 boop. I want to thank Bernie for this picture of the dope goose right there. And Black Lives Matter, Goose Lives Matter too. You see it right there going down. And thank you. She signed it for me and everything else. And I'm going to get a frame for that, and it's going to become a part of the set. So thank you,
Nice.
Bernie, for that. We truly. I ain't seen Bernie in a while. She ain't been around, but thank you, Bernie. Truly appreciate that. All right, and so they're doing the chanting, they're holding circles, the pictures start flying up in the air and everything else, and then these guys break in, and then we start seeing these what these people are like. So is this what that guy did to them? The images of them, like he took a baby's head and put it on top of another male.
Yeah.
And then he cut one person's arms off and stuff. That's the experiment she was doing, right?
Yeah, that was just horrible. And then we see a woman with her belly, I guess, like all the guts kind of like torn out, and she's holding a baby. And then another woman with her breasts cut off. And then there was somebody. Well, anyway, that's kind of when I saw the baby, and it was
Yeah, the baby was on a basketball player's head, right? It was a basketball player's body with the baby. So you must have killed them and then took the baby's head and tried to like replace the head
Yeah.
with that. Like he was doing some like Frankenstein shit.
Yes. Yeah.
Like trying to
Yeah.
combine different body parts of people for
Mhm.
whatever reason because he's just a sick person and everything
Yeah.
else. All
Yeah.
right. So when this goes all on, these guys aren't protected, and that is the end of them. We get the one guy, he
Mhm.
gets killed by the elevator, takes his head right off. Now that
Ugh.
how is that the elevator head
Oh
pop
my
off?
god, I do love gore and I do love kind of like all that stuff. But when you combine gore and creepy and scary, I'm not a happy. I'm not. I don't want to say I'm not a happy person, but I do hide behind my pillows. And after that, I do watch some happy stuff. And definitely, I will be watching some happy stuff because it was great. I mean, when the elevator, when it was it was amazing. I love that. I love that scene. I was just obviously that I knew that's gonna happen when he gets close to the elevator. Um, yeah, I did enjoy it.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
did too. And then the other guy, he got other guy got the heat to the face.
yeah. I think they got my image. The image in my head was they basically got their skin boiled off, like just steamed off their body because they were the baby or the baby whatever that was creature kind of pushed them towards the what was it, the radiator, no, who what was
Yeah, it
it?
was like it was like a radiator.
Yeah, yeah,
Rich Fro is right. So the baby had made a cute noise and smile right before he killed. I think he
yeah.
did it like right after he killed it. You hear
Oh
the
wow,
baby.
like like making goo goo and gaga
Yeah,
sounds, all that's like yay, that is so creepy. Good thing there's no kids in the house because I would,
it
if anybody has a little baby and the baby makes that sound right now. Yeah, although every mother, we can distinguish our baby crying or making sounds from other babies, but still, that would be creepy to wake up to.
yeah, it was not that. That was funny. And he just took it out. And then the demons first they possess the medium, the voodoo lady,
Yes.
right? Possesses her.
Mm-hmm.
And then after the demon possesses her, the
Oh.
demon then goes inside of Tick and
Mm-hmm.
starts saying, "Get out of my house." Now,
Mm-hmm.
when the first time that the voice it was using the voice of a black man saying, "Get out of my house."
Mm-hmm.
But I thought it was weird from the beginning. I always said, "Why would these black people be tormenting these other black people?" Like I was like,
Mm-hmm.
"Why are these black ghosts over here?" Tormenting other black people. It didn't make any sense for me that would be going on. And then we see Letty. She goes and she's like, listen, she says all of the victims' names. And she's
Mm-hmm.
like, we could fight this off ourselves. And then you see all the ghosts grab hands with her. They form the circle. They start doing the chant. And then they start turning back to their normal forms. And you start
Mm-hmm.
seeing them as they were, not as they were. The people who had the breast cut off still had that, but the baby head went away and the regular guy's head went away and everything else.
Mm-hmm.
And then we see that the true demon that was doing this was
Mm-hmm.
the scientist that owned the house.
Yeah.
He was the
Yeah.
guy that was doing all that.
Yeah. It was really the way she I mean, at that point, what do you have left? I mean, in Letty's defense, like there was nothing else. She knew, and I could see the fear in her, but also as she was kind of summoning whatever extra power, or not power but energy, she willpower maybe she had in herself, you could see her making, just making herself do this. She didn't give up. She was, I think she was scared, but a fear can be a motivator too. She wasn't scared and running, she was scared acting, doing something because of that fear. Um and she did sound upset too. I mean, she looked ticked off. This is her
Mm-hmm,
house. She
mm-hmm,
wanted to reclaim it, and not only she had to save her life because she would be a dead, dead person at that point, but she wanted to survive it. But also, kind of for the other spirits at that point to get revenge, and if not just revenge, to get peace, um, to be free from there, because she said that they're stuck. So obviously she wanted them to not be stuck because it's her house, but also for them to be free finally.
hmm And she successfully did it, and they've got this guy out of there and everything else, and then the other ghost spirits went to rest,
Mm-hmm.
and that's how we think the episode is going to end. But no, we get a little cold ending because we see
Yeah.
her getting they get the house. All the people had moved out because they were scared. They were mad
Mm-hmm.
because they said she provoked the white people, but that went away because she said in
Mm-hmm.
the beginning there's always strength in numbers. Or it seemed like a bunch of women moved in after that. A lot of
Mm-hmm.
women moved in there, and then she's getting interviewed by a local paper, and she gives the credit to her sister
Mm-hmm.
in the paper. Make sure her sister knows that she's getting credit for it. And when she and then after that, after that, she gives the credit to her sister. You see the elevator go downstairs. They get off the elevator. She
Oh,
asked her, "Hey, you know about the 3 white guys missing?" So I didn't even hear nothing about it. They get off
yeah.
the elevator closes by itself. So it makes me think that the black ghost is still up in there chilling, because the elevator door closed by itself. It goes downstairs to the
Yeah.
basement. You see the 3 bodies of the white dudes and a bunch more.
Bunch. Oh, but then when it was going down, and I'm like, that's one of my nightmares that I sometimes would have in the past. The elevator going down, and elevator going down to the floors that are technically not there. I'm like, oh no! Like, I remember living one of my nightmares. It was a very very scary scene for me. Very creepy. Let's just say this way, very very creepy. Because I guess I kind of had that uh, as a reoccurring dream in the past.
Kelly
Mine is the
said,
dead bodies. Mine is the dead bodies. Just the elevator.
Callie says the ghosts weren't really messing with the
Mhm.
black folk. They only presented themselves to Letty because she
Yeah.
died. I think the veil was broken for her. I could see that being the case. I could see that being the case because I look. Did they? I mean, they. I don't. I mean, they pulled the covers off of. That was a black hand that did that.
Hmm.
But I think all the bad stuff that was happening was the white dude was doing all that.
But then they didn't present her. I mean, they did go near her, but she actually never seen them. Like, she never saw them. The lady that who took the covers off, we see her. She doesn't. The guy in the mirror, we see the guy in the mirror. She doesn't.
Mhm.
So so I don't know
Yeah,
if
she
there's
doesn't
any.
really see a lot of
Yeah,
them. She doesn't
yeah,
see them until she says all their names and then they come out
yeah,
and hold
yeah,
hands with her and stuff like
yeah.
that. But basically, I think the ending was basically saying it was this white scientist who was doing all the haunting and
Hmm.
stuff. He's the one who dropped the elevator on her and tried to take her out. It was his house. He was the one owner of the house, and the ghost kept saying, "Get out of
Yeah.
my house." So he was the owner of the house, and he was trying to get her out the house because he did all these disgusting experiments. And yes, there was a lot more body than 8 people down there. He definitely was doing some crazy stuff, and he a lot of
Hmm.
people. I wonder if they're just gonna if it just goes away, or if that cop does somehow come back around and pay for that, because he need to pay for that for bringing
Yeah.
all the
Yeah,
people in.
couple things in that, and I forgot. Was that the last scene, or do we still see? Is there that scene, the scene with what's her name, Christina, when Tick is pointing a gun
Oh
at her?
yes,
I forgot
I
if that
forget
was
that. Yes.
that was before that, right?
That's
Because the
before that.
ending was okay. Yes, I wasn't sure, but so a couple things are not like I still wonder what happened with when George's wife goes into that room with the astrology
Mm-hmm.
or whatever it was, or astronomy, because I'm not sure if that was actually scientific or kind of like different books in there, and then those planets, what it meant, like, you know, if there's more to that or not. I wonder if it was just kind of signifying nothing. Why would she,
No, it has to because she's into astrology, and
Mhm.
she happened to walk in there and she got smiled when she seen it.
Yeah.
Like she was happy to see it. So that
Mhm.
definitely means something. But going back to the part that we did skip over,
Yeah.
we see Tick, he sees the blonde hair girl
Mhm.
again and paying off the banker again.
Yep.
Now we don't know what the money she's giving the banker or what it's for,
Mhm.
maybe something else going on. But then we realize that it's her. She's the one who gave the money to Letty to get her for whatever reason. and then Tick tries to pull a gun on her, but she has some type of magical spell that he can't, that she freezes him. Like he can't move, he can't do nothing. And I like the line that she says at the end, like, listen, you can't just go around killing white women.
What was he? I mean, what was he thinking? He's just gonna shoot her or just
I
threaten
don't know
her?
what he was thinking. I don't, especially at that time, bruh. Are you crazy? You can't even like smile at a white woman back then, let alone shoot her in the head. That just doesn't go. That's just not gonna go. You know what I mean? But she gives him some more history, then gives the card. It's like, if you want some more, so now we know the plot is to get these pages to this book. Is what she's after, and that's where it's gonna go, and everything else. They try to get these pages to this book to get this Adam thing out of there.
Yeah, so here, let's see, who made that comment? I think Maud Mary. She says, "I'm sorry, but the blonde-haired girl is not a very good actress." I wondered about her acting. I wonder if this is the way she's supposed to do something, because she is. I still think that she's not just any regular person. She seems to me like she's kind of like I don't know what she is, or if she's just kind of going through. She reminds me of those ageless people like who live forever, and she's just not even trying. She's just kind of like, okay, I'm here. They're not in a moment, because the moment is, millennia for them. I wonder how old she actually is, and if this is the way she's supposed to act and behave, kind of very cold and just very like
She's a blonde Melisandre. I don't know if she's that old.
Yeah, maybe she's supposed to be like that, like not, what's the word for it? No emotion, no nothing. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if I could say she's a bad actress, and I didn't see her give enough range yet to see, that she everything she's played the snobby white woman very well. And I think that's all she's really been asked to do. Like I said, like when I look at Letty's been asked to do a lot so far in this show.
Yeah.
She had to run the whole gamut of emotions and show them all.
Yeah.
So I mean, so it's obvious to see that Letty is a great actress and she's doing a great job with that. I don't know if this lady's been asked to show a lot of acting chops. Yeah.
Maybe she's supposed to channel, what's his name, Bran from Game of Thrones. Hopefully not. Like, what am I doing here? Just channel your inner Bran. Act like that. Or Bran, is it? Oh yeah, I forgot. Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, and that is the episode.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, it ended, the ending that those tunnels, and who said it here? Was it Joan or somebody said it here, that the house was haunted way before that, and that the dead bodies probably were maybe from back then. I wonder, like, how did those
I don't
bodies
know.
get there?
I think the dead body is from him. I think it's his experiments. I think he did all that. I mean, maybe not. I don't know, but I think it's been from him.
And how did they get there? Did they? I mean,
because that's why he built the elevator in the house specifically, so he could have an extra basement below the basement to store all the bodies.
But that's the thing, when you look, that's the mystery of it. I'm really curious. Are we going to move forward now? Is she going to keep the house? Is there going to be more stuff? Because when she looked down into that elevator, there was maybe like one more floor. This is where elevator would go down. That's it. Like, would rest. And it looked like they were going at least couple floors down, like going down and down. Like, there was not that much space. So it will, I mean, I'm sure it went into, like some supernatural realm or something, because there's no, I mean, I'm sure they would go down further if they could. Just the idea of sub-basement was creepy enough, but then to know that there's something else down there, I'm gonna have probably nightmares after this. But I'm still gonna watch.
As they pointed out in the chat, those tunnels were definitely built before the house.
Oh yeah. Oh,
them tunnels,
I wonder where they lead.
Yeah, where the tunnels lead. We're gonna have to get down the tunnels at one point, I do believe, and see what's going on down there, because there's a lot more going down. And you have to think that this magic woman knew she was going to buy this house. That's why she gave her the money.
I hope that it doesn't just, turn into nothing. That she did. I don't like for there to be, those loose ends where they don't. I hope they won't do it like that.
Just the tunnel leads to hell.
Who knows?
Jesus
It
Christ.
looked scary. It looked really scary.
This,
Yeah, and what happened to the lady? We know the goat died, but with the lady with the goat didn't die. Hopefully she didn't die.
no, she just got slammed up. I don't think did she die? I don't think
All
she
right.
died.
Well, hopefully not. I mean, we didn't see blood or no pulse. I mean, yeah,
I mean, you could die with just some impact, you know.
true.
But I don't think she died.
Mhm.
I think she survived. I don't think she was dead. We got
Yeah.
a lot more to see in this show. And listen,
Yeah.
I'm rating this episode a goddamn 10. I'm giving it a 10, not just a regular 10, a goddamn. What are you giving this episode scale of 1 to 10?
For scaring me, I would take away points, but I'm adding points because I would give it 9.5, 10. Giving 9.5 because I'm not sure. I was confused by a couple things, and I still don't know about where those tunnels are. So maybe kind of, but again, maybe I shouldn't lower it just because I don't know if they're gonna do something with it. So I guess I'm gonna give that half point and make it a 10 because there's hope that they will tell me where those tunnels lead. Because I was like, okay, what is this tunnel? What Yeah. So I don't like unexplained things. But yeah, I'm thinking closer to 10, 9.5, 10.
Mod Mary says, "Do we feel that each episode's its own story?" I don't. I think it's all leading somewhere. I don't think it's all just
Mm,
one story. I think all these episodes are building to somewhere in the end. I
mhm.
don't think so. But what do you think?
There is connection. We thought based on the trailer, last trailer that we had, that there won't be any other characters besides the main characters in this episode, and we see Christina at the end. So they are somehow connected. We see why her father died. Because it kind of was already confirmed that he did die because he did take away that spell, that invulnerability spell. He took it off for the ceremony. That's why he died, and she didn't die because she didn't take it off, apparently. So though they are explaining stuff to us, and I still feel that there's connection from George, even though he died. We see there's a question of, will is
George
there
can't
George?
be dead. He can't
He
be dead.
cannot. I know.
I mean, he's dead, but he has to come back, right? Because we
But
did see the spell because Letty died and they brought her back.
yes,
So I think he has, but Letty wasn't buried in the ground either, though.
yeah,
Like she
yeah.
was
They just laid
Mrs.
her on
brought
the
her
couch.
back.
Yeah.
I don't know this. I just think that killing him, there's got to be something else going on with it. I just can't see him. It would just be, I don't know. I
Mhm.
think that would be a little anticlimactic if he just died that way and never came back. I think he had so much more to offer
Yeah,
that
exactly.
I just don't think that it would be good for him to die that way.
That would be really disappointing if he did die, and unless he's some kind of a good ghost towards the end or a good presence towards helping them, like somebody said that in the chat. But whatever they do, I hope they do it okay so that it's not like, oh, and he never died, or oh, and it never happened to them. That would be so much more disappointing if it actually they went. I don't think they would do it. I hope not. I hope they will not do anything like that to us.
Because I think that Tick needs to find out that that's his father, right? I mean, we still got. I think that has to be found out. I mean, he's still, and I don't think there's anyone that can tell him that but him, because I don't think the guy, I don't think Omar is going to tell him that.
Um, who?
Oh, I call him Omar.
Oh, okay.
Tick's father, the guy
Brother.
we
Okay.
hypo.
Montrose or what? Okay.
Yeah,
So I wonder if he's gonna get some kind of resolution to that. I don't see. I am not seeing, like, for example, Montrose being, oh, I'm gonna be a great dad now. That stuff doesn't happen like that. Nobody just wakes up. Well, maybe there's somebody who just wakes up and is a great dad, but there's too much trauma from his childhood, from Montrose's childhood, and all the life that he's led. Yeah, I don't see them rebuilding a relationship like that. But somehow, he should know. it would be really sad if he didn't find out. But again, if they're going for real life stuff, real life, it's not pretty oftentimes. So
Mm-hmm.
we'll see which way they go, real life or made up and wishful thinking stuff.
All right. So, do you have any predictions for next week? Do you see the preview for next week? I don't.
A
I
little.
really have to watch it. I haven't
Yeah.
watched it yet, so I don't know what's gonna go on. I'm gonna watch it later.
I think they're going to be hunting for something, right? A book? Because didn't she say that all those spells that they have is just from one chapter of the book, and the rest of the pages were torn out, so she wants the pages. But like, I'm thinking, why? How is she going to make him, get those pages? What is it in there for him, right?
Mm-hmm. Kelly says George will come back like Dracula, maybe.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my god, maybe.
The book, that's a good catch because he has that book, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she keeps thinking that she tore it up and then she got another copy. I mean, his wife got another copy of that book because it was his favorite. I wonder. Hmm.
And we got Heidi from Costume Co. has joined us real
Hey,
quick right
Heidi.
now. What up? How are you? Glad to see you here. They do their own
Mhm,
show. The Creatives Guild does a show of Lovecraft
mhm.
every Tuesday night. It is, so check it out. I will be on there actually
Nice.
talking about it
Nice.
with them, chopping it up and stuff like
Mhm,
that. So and everything else, we'll see what it is. Well, I can
mhm,
get down and do my thing. Everything repping as always. So definitely check out the Creatives
mhm,
Guild and check out Costume Co. Page on
mhm.
Facebook and everything else. Definitely subscribe to their channel. They do great things over there and everything else. Just Brit says they go down to the tunnels. Just Brit, you're blowing stuff up. I ain't see that preview, Jess.
To the tunnels? Oh my gosh, I need to look at that.
It
Oh.
has to go to the tunnels. I think you can't just put that in there and everything else.
If they're gonna go to those tunnels, I need to bring my dog back. I need an emotional support animal next to me because I'm not watching that like that. It's scary. It's really, if they do an episode in the tunnels, I will be very happy. But at the same time, yeah, wow, that's
You
gonna
got
be
you,
intense.
you got to keep the plot going. If George would
Yes.
come back like a vampire, oh, that would be freaky if he did. I mean, he's been underground and everything else, so we'll see where it goes. We'll see what happens, and yeah,
Wasn't he referring to that in the first episode? What happens, or so one of them did, right? What happens after you're bit?
mm-hmm.
Like, oh my god.
What happens after you bit? Yep, that was definitely one of the things they're going. Heidi says William is in the next episode. So William's coming back for the next episode. I guess that he'll
Mhm,
be there. So it's going to be the search for
mhm.
these pages. I guess in this book that must be the plot.
Yeah.
I don't know how long that will go. If that's going to go for the whole season or anything else like that, or if it's
Mhm.
just going to go or anything like that. But it's going to be an adventure, and I like this show. I really like this show. I look forward to it coming on and everything else. I just think that it's truly a really good show. I'm just so happy that this show. I just
Yeah.
hope it gets I just hope it gets the love it deserves. I truly do. I hope it does because I would be so disappointed if they do this one season and it gets canceled because not enough people watch it. I'll be pissed off.
Yeah, I this is the first show that I'm actually so excited to watch when it's coming live for that. And then we can finally do some predictions because before it was at Netflix, it just drops and we're like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
okay, I guess there's nothing else. Maybe just prediction for next season if there's another one, if it's not a mini series. But yeah, I just have a question for you. What do you think before we wrap up for that book? Do you think it said, I think, Book of Names, was it? What do you think? Like, what if I'm trying to think, why are they getting, or how are they getting Tick to look for that? Is there a promise maybe of something can bring back George to life? Would that be
Well,
far reach?
she said that her father's like his claim to fame was he was able to live for a long time, right?
Mm,
And they have
yeah,
the ability to bring Letty back to life, so they must
yeah,
already have this. They must know this already how to do this.
hmm,
So I think that
mm,
this spell, I think that he has to learn this spell. I think that
yeah.
eventually Tick is going to start learning how to wield some of this magic
Mm,
himself. and start being able to cast spells himself.
Mm. It's so exciting, and each episode is different. So far, they're all different, all kinds of creatures, all kinds of spooky, supernatural stuff. This one was more scary than the other one because it creeped me out. I wonder what the next one will be. Somebody said more Indiana Jones kind of vibe. Yeah, that's actually one of my favorite movies. So we'll see how that one goes too.
Yeah, definitely. It just says that
Mhm.
Uncle George totally knows the language of Adam without realizing it because he read so many books. It probably is
Mm,
in all those books, a
nice.
little bit here, a little bit there, a little bit there, in all the books you read. Probably could be everything else like that. Edwin Martin says Tick is a thing. Tick's bloodline is a thing. Something about his blood that he's going to be able to do these things, you know, anything,
Mm.
something like that. So that is definitely what is going to go. And AK says Tick needs to go to Hogwarts. Well, maybe he's got to get some training. Who knows? You know, he may have to get some training and everything else. But again, I would like to, thank everybody here for rocking with us again. Another week is in the books,
Mhm.
and Elamar, as always, thank you for spending
Oh,
your night with me. I truly, truly appreciate
my
it.
pleasure. It's always fun discussing this with you and here with everybody in the chat. It's a lot of fun, and I can't wait for the next one.
No doubt. Make sure you go to subscribe to Lady in the Dive podcast, subscribe to Teflon TV, subscribe to I Live in My Rhapsody, and make sure if you want some more this Tuesday again on the Creatives Guild, I will be there. Go watch them, and they break it down. Costume Coach, she goes through all the costumes and
Mhm.
all the characters. John Del Vento goes through all the music and how the music affects it. And then you have a Shadow Cat who breaks down scene by scene and all of the jumps, cuts, and everything else
Mhm.
like that. So it's definitely a very unique perspective. And
Yes.
I'm going to be there just trying to make jokes, all right, at the whole thing.
Oh my
and not
gosh.
get in their way. That's what I'm going to be doing. You
It's
know,
gonna be a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun listening to their last stream. So I'm looking forward to the next
and
one. And of course,
they go for a long time
they
too.
do. I
I
was able
know.
to finish the entire project at
I'm
home.
gonna get a pillow for my butt.
Yeah.
Not that I don't have enough cushion down there already. I do. I really don't need it because I'm really got enough cushion already. But I'm gonna get a pillow to sit down and get ready for this. And I don't have to work on Wednesday. That's why I'm able to do it because I know I'm gonna
Oh,
be there.
perfect.
So we'll be there for a
Perfect.
while, knocking it out and everything else.
Mhm.
So as I said, if you like the way I do this, please thumbs up this, please spread this across the realm, and please subscribe. And until next time, you know who it is. Peace.
And stay safe.